isolation.
All right, we're about to find out which map we're going to be going on to as well for our next one, as all of these fly on in, and we've been going to Towers of Doom here. And with Team Liquid picking this map, and being 2-1 up at the moment, this is a pretty good option for them as we now go into the draft for game number 4, Grubby.
Game number 4, Towers of Doom. Tassadar Tracer comes to mind. Illidan, obviously, is going to be a powerful pick for Gale Force. Team Liquid, they haven't played Vikings much yet. They haven't played Vikings this series yet. We had one Abathur. For the rest, it's been pretty much straight up team fighting. And to be honest, they lost the Abathur game. They won the 2 non-specialist games. I think Team Liquid is ready to face Gale Force head on. Last game was close, but I would be surprised if Team Liquid actually goes to Vikings here. I think Illidan has been strong against them. Even last game, Illidan was very powerful. I'd see them banning it out.
Illidan's a problem, but so is Abathur on Towers of Doom, and it's a pick that Gale Force loves as well. But giving up both of those and banning Tassadar instead, which means that they're both an option and Gale Force can only have one.
I was kind of forcing the hand. Is the Uther going to be a major focal point and because of the double focus on the supports, or do you go back to those kind of globals with the Abathur? Personally, I think against a team like Liquid, and knowing that they have such strength when they get on that kind of play dynamic, and it's a map that immediately complements it, I would like to see them remove that and deal with possibly, you know, some of the power picks that can synergize with the Uther. But at least it's Ariel-less, so a traditional double support is less appealing.
I think if Gale Force takes anything, Team Liquid might just say a Nubrak Dahaka for us in first rotation. They haven't got a Nubrak once yet. They like it. Dahaka is good. Nubrak is good. And if you look at Uther last game, he was mostly using D-Shield to save someone from the brink. It wasn't used as an enabler. So I'm glad that for Gale Force's sake that they're not taking Uther early. I don't think it is as important. Abathur is a pretty big move though into choosing the direction of the draft here.
Is it helpful here for Gale Force to just have that just in case Team Liquid brings out the Vikings down the line, so they at least have a little bit of extra soak elsewhere to...
Yes and no. I would say 90% of the cases, Vikings just does Abathur's job better.
Yes.
And Abathur is a little bit more of a team fighter, but when you're playing the XP game, you should go hard. I feel like Vikings has an extremely favorable matchup against Abathur. Towers of Doom, one of the exceptions though. So if they do think they're against Vikings, this is the most okay map to try and counter that with Abathur.
It's an interesting dynamic. I feel opposite. Like, I agree on the experience department, but just because the lack of team fight that Vikings present all the way until 16, just stop the bleeding of the pressure that they're going to apply. You win every single fight if you have the Abathur. You take the clone, you hard in, and you just win the fight. And though, yes, in the end, Vikings might be able to complement, especially if they go with like a longboat raid attempt, but if they don't, I'd like to see the Abathur into it, but honestly, it's a skill matchup when it comes down to it. It's whoever can get the better position, get the most soak, and if you're effective with your clones. Because if you aren't, Vikings are definitely the safer route. You innately get the experience, whereas Abathur always has to try to get it.
That's the great thing about Heroes of the Storm. A lot of opinions about a lot of heroes.
Yeah.
It is so likely to be Illidan yet again, but Gale Force, after losing with him now, I don't know. With Dahaka already gone, it feels like Mike is sort of forcing this. Gale Force has shown that they want to have somebody who can split and then get in instantly, and that be Mike's hero, and that would be then Illidan with Dahaka being gone.
Yeah, you get so used to shot calling that way maybe, right? They've had Illidan, they've had Zul, always someone fulfilling that role.
Is it going to the Genji or the Illidan? Genji and Illidan.
I wondered about that, but then I
both?
thought if they were going to get Illidan, they would want Fan to be back again with Zavala yet again. But I mean, if you've lost with it once, maybe it's time to change it up. So they're going to get both Genji, and Illidan.
No, you're here.
Genji'd in.
You're ours, Gilly. Sorry.
Aw, I'm just going to pop down the stage for a second. You won't even know I'm gone.
This is just like a blast from the past, from mid-season brawl. Like E-Star in the group stage, always running Genji, Illidan. It's like, yeah, let's just get them both. And, you know, this is such an aggressive comp here by Gale Force. Uther would have been ideal for them. I wonder whether they'll go with the... Is it going to be Karazim to join that dive, or maybe Rhaegar, the more appropriate support for someone like Genji and Illidan?
I was wondering if they were going to ban the Arthas, which we traditionally see into Illidan, but I think I like the idea of a beefier warrior and not Arthas. There is so much high mobility between Illidan, Genji, and the Genji clone. Arthas doesn't matter anymore. He does matter when Illidan is the only problem. When there's 3 of them, he has to essentially stand on top of the kill target.
I think I actually agree with that.
He literally can't move out. So I don't like the Arthas ban in this circumstance. I would rather get rid of the frontliner, like maybe it's a Diablo, maybe it's the Murden, whatever beefcake is going to be up front that they don't want to deal with, that can get back and can get the peel appropriately. Because they are not looking for a front line here. They're looking to dive the back line.
This is not a sustained fight with Genji and Illidan. So Team Liquid has to think of a protection against this hard engage on whatever backline they choose to take, or maybe don't take a backline, just go with Sonya, Chen, Murden, that kind of comp that cannot get deleted easily. That's still a valid option. I don't think Team Liquid will go double backliner now.
No, that would be such a risk to see out of them. If they did go in that direction, it would be ridiculous. Double support, though, and double warrior. Understandably so, considering Gale Force has kind of volunteered to the all-in. How do they make up for this now? Okay, it's very forgiving for Liquid.
Which support is okay against a bajillion crowd control effects? There's a Drag Tongue, Hammer of Justice, Polymorph, Power Slide, Mush, Emerald Wind.
He's the only one. He is the beef of the support role right now. He's the only one who can sustain that.
So do you just... I mean, Kharazim can get triple cleanse at level 16.
I want to go Kharazim Tyrael.
Yeah, I think it will be Kharazim.
I think so. Tyrael, Kharazim, yeah. Sanct is kind of the wild card, the joker, if you will, with Sanct. That can block all kinds of effects. It's going to be a difficult comp to execute, but I don't see any other way forward than Kharazim Tyrael.
If Liquid hadn't Brightwinged, I would suggest going Judgment, and then baiting the Divine Shield at some point, reinitiating and just all-inning on another area. But now double support, it's too forgiving. You got to go with the Saint. You got to take the high risk that you can take the melee deathball team fight and deal with it.
Rhaegar Tyrael also okay, but it's going to be Murden. So we have parts sustain, parts jump in by Gale Force. It gives them more nuance, but less purpose and direction potentially.
Final pick, guys.
Give me anything. As long as it doesn't die, I don't care. Like, seriously, it could be Tychus, or it could be the safest. Just Odin up, he's going in, I'm Odin, you get a little bit of heals, Brightwing throws out the pixie dust, and you're like, boys, we're turning this fight for free.
But ideally, if you're going to get a mosh pit and you land a mosh pit, you want to be able to put damage in during that time, right? And it's just double support,
Tychus
double warrior.
is pretty good. If you get Judgmented, well, there's no Judgment, obviously, but if you get the Hunted, you can turn it on. You get the Unstoppable, you get the 25 armor, you turn on Neo Steel Coating, you have 50 armor, you get the pixie dust.
Cassia.
You get the Cassia.
And now I'm really wishing that was a Tyrael. The more melees, the better to be able to deal with. They have to move in, clump up, making Sanctification more probable to be successful. Granted, it makes it more likely to probably get interrupted as well with that amount of crowd control. But boys, purely off the draft, I'm going to go ahead and throw out the prediction. This is North America going home. That is scary.
The Hunt on top of Cassia, too. She can drop Inner Light, have the extra blind from that, and then you've got a lot of blinds just even provided by her.
Yeah, I think that's it. Inner Light, Cassia. She has Charge Strike against this melee heavy comp from Gale Force.
Predictions over there?
I think Team Liquid, but I can't be sure. I'll just let the players play it out this once.
Okay, did we get yours, Gilly?
My brain says Team Liquid, but my heart says Gale Force, so let's go with the heart this time.
All right, and Dread, we had yours, so all good.
I will add to that there is a rare chance that Gale Force gets a couple of early picks and this game looks really ugly into their favor because their comp can snowball, but like they are just not synergistic enough to get away with that.
All right, well, thank you very much as we now head over to game number 4. Team Liquid 1 game away from advancing on to play against Expert and make it a 3-for-3 Europe in that top 3 spot. Let's see if North America can bring it back.
The crowd is hyped and we are getting ready for game number 4. This could be the last game for Gale Force. They were looking good in the games before, but right now with this draft, they have to win this if they want to force the 5th game.
I mean, once again, explosive drafts from both teams looking to try and bring this one out to a game 5. But as you mentioned, Gale Force eSports on match point. They need to try and get this one in the bag to run this one to the full best of 5 length.
Yeah, Team Liquid has been looking really solid in the late game team fights, and right now they're of course going to try and do this again. But for Gale Force, everything is on the line here.
Gale Force eSports on their tournament survival, looking to bring it all the way back. K1 Pro on Abathur Arcaface on Rhaegar, Fan on Genji, Muradin played by King Caffeine, and Michael Uda once again on Illidan.
And while the slug is dancing to the left, to the right, we have Team Liquid. Hazobs on Cassia, Lumbi on ETC, Nurok on Brightwing, Darkmok on the Haka, and Splendor on Uther.
By no means is this going to be an easy game for Gale Force. They have, once again, no ranged assassin looking for the commit. We've seen it already happen once this series. Not this series, the previous series. It does bring a lot of pressure and a lot of pain, but you need to snowball early.
Nurok already played one game against Team Freedom on Brightwing, and he said after the game that they practiced the strategy ages ago, that him on Brightwing, it's something that they weren't really too comfortable, that they said this is the pick that we have to go for, it's the pick that makes the most sense. Nurok absolutely delivered in the hero, and then they of course realized, hey, we can use this in different scenarios, and now they're doing exactly that, so they are showcasing off his skills once again on the second support.
Yeah, we're looking here at a Team Liquid comp that says protect the Cassio. As long as Cassio is alive, things can really work in their favor right now, as Illidan and Genji will both be looking to exploit that backline, try and get their first reset, try and run rampant, and try and get themselves back into the series.
Yeah, Gale Force here is really banking, of course, on that Abathur combination once again with Illidan, trying to have that support build ready with the pressure rate glance and just getting the extra odd attack speed. The Soma Transference on 13, such a crucial talent, but we have a lot running for Liquid too. Once again, the aggression. Gale Force has shown it on the first map. Liquid got caught off by surprise on Infernal Shrines, but this time Darkmok was prepared.
Yeah, the one thing that really stands out for me that is going to be a scary factor for Gale Force to have to contend with will be that charge strikes, the level 1 choice for Cassia. Going to be able to bounce around and do a lot of split spread damage, as you can see on your screens right now. Team Liquid going for the invade, wanting to deny the Sapper Camp away.
Yeah, Liquid is trying to abuse the fact that currently there is an Abathur on the side of Gale Force, and that is traditionally in a weaker early game. And with Abathur not placing any toxicness in the area where he could spot out the rotation, Liquid simply heads for the camp and takes it. That's fantastic for TL now. They take a slight lead from a structural point of view, in experience, and can now still aim for those altars.
Brightwing is beginning that channel, is going to get that one off successfully. Darkmok beginning the top right one. They're just going to trade out, but Team Liquid do get the better of that trade. They pick up 2 for 1.
Team Liquid with the shots fired here gets the extra altar, but already up at the top, another camp finding their way into the structures, taking the towers down. Gale Force fighting back here, but both of the teams still roaming the map again in the mid lane. Gale Force with an attempt.
Looking to go onto Hazawabs. King Caffeine is going to receive the polymorph. Not going to be too much of a threat for him so far. Phase shift does come in, giving them some vision to see where Gale Force are trying to regress from. Are they coming from the top? Are they splitting down from the bot lane? They need to converge, and they need to apply pressure.
Blumby on the ETC also, this is something that we have seen in the series before. When he goes for the mosh pit, he holds it to the moment where he can absolutely get max value. He's not afraid to hold back mosh pit for an entire fight. And it forces your opponent to really think about how you approach a team fight. Since you always have to make sure that you are split, your positioning is extremely important, and you have to hold back stuns. So if the mosh pit comes through, that you still have options to interrupt it. So as long as you don't just simply throw it out and rush it, you will always gain value in a team fight.
The big talking point for me, Calder, would have to be the level 4 in Cassia. The analyst decks seem almost certainly sold on the idea that it would be Inner Light, the blind applying when a stun comes across, primarily from either when Muradin jumps in or the hunt comes out from Illidan, but he does go for the Ring of Leech, opting for more damage, more healing when the target is blinded.
Yeah, and at this point we see a trade in Bell Towers, but you're absolutely right. Ring of Leech is a standard talent to take, but the blinds that you are mentioning, we have seen them in this tournament several times now. So Cassia, with a bit of adaptation on the level 4 talent, Bell Towers are traded, but the one problem that I have with this is that the bottom Bell Tower is so much more important. You have access to 2 Zappa camps that you can escort into your opponent's core, and also depending on the position of those altars, you have a very good choke against your opponent towards the left side.
I want to see how Team Liquid posture for this one. They could potentially escort these sappers in through the bot lane, net another 3 shots for free. Seems to be that Michael Udar wants to do the exact same right now. 2 altars spawning both top left and top right as New York stays in the bot lane.
Yeah, we have Hand of Protection take in the cleanse version on the side of Uther here. No Guardian of the Ancient Kings. So really worried about especially Illidan starting to hunt in. And of course, also on top of that, the stuns coming from Muradin here. Both of the teams now waiting for the possible exchange, and there is absolutely no fight, no aggression just yet. They are both willing to let this one go. Well, maybe with the exception of Blumby, who for a second at least was tempted.
Oh, Darkmont getting aggressive here. Michael Udall looking to try and butt off more than he can chew. He's going to dodge the drag attempt. Got to be so careful when you're in front of those cannons. A lot of damage can come across, but the Mule, level 7, looking to keep these alive.
Yeah, Abathur committing to Mule here, and that definitely helps them to an extent. But at some point, Liquid will commit to that top altar. Oh, Caffeine with a Storm Ball delaying the portal back.
I was getting excited there for a second, potentially to see the big plays, the big jump across, looking for the one-shot, but it is Muradin.
Only with Haymaker.
No level ultimates just yet, no level 10 as Arcaface now starts to jump onto Nurok. Blomby comes across as Arcaface is there as well. He does get over harm's way. The phase shift is so well timed.
Nurok, new Brightwing main confirmed. The stun against Genji on the other hand. Fan moving back out, but Liquid holds on to the bell tower at the bot lane, up to the top. Illidan still protecting the one that Gale Force took earlier against the constant attempts of Darkmok to push it in.
And I like this from Team Liquid quite a bit. Right now they are leading in shots, but also just from the macro sense, they have that complete control of bot lane. As you already touched on, those sappers are so important, and all day long they've just been stealing these away from Gale Force eSports.
I really like what we're seeing at the top though. With Mule and Illidan being constantly helped out by a symbiote, we are really seeing Gale Force sieging up on that top lane. And for Darkmok, that must be extremely frustrating. He finally sees a chance to at least move in, but Illidan will be back soon as he's just now trying to get a Zappa camp once again for his team.
Yeah, much the same as what Team Liquid have been doing off-court and picking these up. Same with Michael Udall, but the siege is good. Team Liquid has scored in three shots.
3 shots fired. Level 10 for Gale Force though. Liquid isn't there just yet, but this now means that with the hunt, Illidan has his pseudo global. And we see a rotation as Fan is now taking over the guard duty up at the top. And at this point, that Zappa camp is getting dangerously close to the core of Team Liquid.
Wow, they're actually going to start the boss here. They're going to basically utilize that window of opportunity. The smallest of margins, still no level 10 for Team Liquid, but that allows 4 shots for Gale Force eSports to work in their favor.
But I'm really liking it because they took the top right bell tower. They have vision on 2 heroes as is, so they take an easy boss here. That's 4 shots fired. Great thinking on the side of Gale Force. Fantastic rotation. It's an opportunity. They have vision on Team Liquid on the map, and they have the actual bell tower to the top right. Very safe boss for them to take, and they commit 4 more shots.
Beautiful CC overlapping there from both Blumby and Splendid, denying Caffeine, trying to stop Hazuobs on the cap. But it's really cool to see that both Gale Force and Team Liquid have their own strategies. You go for the bot lane, but we'll still execute in the top.
Yeah, 0 kills in this game so far. And keep in mind, Liquid is ahead with a 2-1. This is a best of 5. Gale Force, they cannot lose this map. They need to win in order to force it to the 5th and final map of this series. If they lose here, then they are out of the tournament, and the top 3 would be confirmed to be coming from Europe.
Leading into this tournament, NA said they just want to take a series off Europe. They just want to prove the memes wrong, and Blumby right now has got other things to say. Still sticking around in his bot lane, still keeping control on this bell tower, still looking to escort in these sappers as they pick up their own.
They have another Zappa camp on the way, and Illidan is starting to make his way into the middle, giving up the top for now. Brightwing is there, Nurok is waiting for a chance to jump back down, and Liquid, they are not stopping at their own Zappa camp. They are getting the second one as well. That is potentially 6 shots against Gale Force.
This is a strategical game to say the least. No kills as you mentioned, but maybe we're going to see a first blood. No, we're not, because the cleanse comes across beautifully timed out there.
Yeah, but the Zappas are getting dangerously close. Yes, the copy. K1 Pro commits to it. They're trying to take the Zappas down, but they are committing cooldowns to it as Illidan is in the mid lane against the Haka.
Indeed they are. K1 Pro is going to use the last stretch of that clone's ability. 2 shots of 5, 3 more to come. They're looking to try and deny them. King Caffeine is low, however.
King Caffeine low, still Illidan in the mid lane here, but the Zappas are once again getting escorted. A few are still left, and that's 1 shot fired, that's 2. They might get a 3rd one as well. Liquid is keeping up the pressure against Gale Force.
Shots fired by Team Liquid, and really, they are starting to command this lead despite the lack of PvP.
When it comes to the resources though, to the structures, Gale Force is looking decent. Their own bell tower, thanks to the Mule and Abathur, has still full health up at the top. Down here, what we're seeing is a bell tower extremely low on health, and in the meantime, Illidan has worked on Team Liquid's bell tower in the mid lane. So there is quite a bit of potential for Gale Force with a bit of momentum to start and snowball this a bit into their own.
Whenever he gets a chance, Michael Udall looking to utilize that pseudo ultimate, that pseudo global, if you will.
They reclaim the bell tower. That will give them a lead here. 5 versus 3. Here comes the hunt, interrupting Darkmok's channel. Isolation being used on Illidan. They want him. The polymorph follows. Ancestral. The mosh pit. He's going into the trap. The bait. The cleanse. But it's not good enough. Illidan is down. Fan Dragon Blade, but this is looking good for Team Liquid.
CC for days, and Van just so desperately waiting for the Divine Shoot to just pop on off. He could dive in, get the Swift Strike resets, but it's not going to happen despite having 13. Team Liquid play remarkably.
What a sexy play by Blumby. He doesn't slide for Illidan, he goes into his path and drops the mosh pit, not only shutting his allies out, but making sure that if Illidan tries to escape that way, he would run straight into the mosh pit. Absolutely perfect positioning by Blumby, by his ETC, the holy cow right there. 28 against 14 points on the core. Team Liquid with a significant lead, but they are behind in experience.
They are indeed, and that seems to be really what Gale Force are trying to focus on as King Caffeine jumps in, saying we've had enough of you stealing away our sappers. It's our turn to start showing what's going across. Hand of protection, beautifully negating that hunt.
These cleanses that we have seen, not only here, but also on Infernal Shrines from both sides, from both supports, are absolutely outstanding. Gale Force now turning up the heat a bit. They are behind in core shots by a lot, but they still hold that top bell tower. They are claiming bell towers all over the place. When it comes to infrastructure, they are way ahead of Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's a worrying fault, however, because at the end of the day, the core does matter, and if you can't pick up the shots, despite how much map control you have, you've got to go back to the drone ball, but the crowd has faith as they start to get amped up once again.
The crowd is getting hyped, and they're not the only ones. Once again, Team Liquid is attempting to reclaim these bell towers. Up at the top, they already got one, but there's still the one in the middle. And Abathur alone already with the Mule had such an impact in this game. I love how Gale Force tries to hold on to infrastructure here, but they have to win these fights. And the level 13 talent definitely is going to help them with this. The Soma transference is going to do such a great job to keep Illidan alive, and they are forcing fights. But now, we have triple altar coming up on the map.
Yeah, the 5th altar phase is always the scary one. How do you manipulate this one? 5 shots working in favor of Gale Force. If they can net a couple at the very least. Once again, Michael Udall picking up those sappers in the top lane. Wants to apply that pressure, try and min-max, but it's back to 4 apiece.
This is going to be critical at this point. Gale Force need to make a stand here. This is going to be very important for them. 2 at least. A boss is also on the map. Keep that in mind. Udall already with a channel to the top left. Here comes Blumby. Tries to interrupt, but he doesn't get it done. The shots are fired. Nurok already committing to the ice block here. They're moving away, but the exchange is happening. 10 against 20 points on the core.
10 against 20 indeed, and the choreographed team fight we saw in the bot lane is the only way we've seen this one kill come across. A lot of CC invested to basically punch on with Michael Udall.
Now that was actually really important that Gale Force got 2 of the altars. They did a great job with that. They lost still 4 points on the core. The boss is a problem as well. That is a concern. But as long as they are the ones heading into 16 first, they might be able to get a fight on a slight advantage here, and they're actually looking for it. Here comes the jump. Caffeine goes in.
The hunt is off cooldown. It's looking to come across. When does it go though? Darkmod comes in with the burrow, and it's looking to go straight on towards Nurok. The Emerald Wind is good, but the Ancestral's even better.
Emerald Wind is already in, but look at Caffeine. Here comes Abathur trying to help him out. The mosh pit, baby! In the back! The Stormbolt doesn't hit anything. Genji is down, and this is Team Liquid chasing down Gale Force eSports.
The second team fight we've seen all day, and only 1 kill picked up. We're still looking at a scoreboard that says 2-0. It's all about the macro.
That was such a good mosh pit as well, and you could immediately see the rest of Team Liquid saying, we know there's only 1 interrupt, and they moved into the path of the Stormbolt to block it. And thanks to the mosh pit, thanks to Blumby, they could get the kill on Genji. The fights are continuing as Udall is in trouble.
He's in trouble indeed. He's looking to try and get out of harm's way. When will Power Slide come up? Is it going to be enough? Stormbolt is not enough to get him out of harm's way.
Illidan goes down, and that's a 5 versus 3, and we are not done just yet. This time, the drag comes in, they're going for it, they want Caffeine, they want that dwarf.
They need to live right now, Caldor. Double altar phase, triple if you count the boss as an altar, and that would secure the win for Team Liquid in this series.
At this point, Liquid wants to bring it home. They want to bring it home right now. They want to go to the next round. They want to eliminate the North American team. They defeated Tempo Storm. They defeated Team Freedom. And they want to go for the triple against Gale Force here. The channel started. Splendor, Shielded, Caffeine, and the rest of the team are moving in. Genji, the one to interrupt.
Forced to use a reflect, but meanwhile they're going for a kill on Arcaface. He does manage to get out, does utilize the healing fountain. The shots have not gone across just yet, but it's still scary times. They're looking for Arcaface. Is Darkmore got enough damage with the Dark Swarm? No, he does not.
The dog is still alive, and K1 Pro with his copy is chasing Nurok. No channels just yet. Shots fired against Team Liquid. So for now, Gale Force doing a fantastic job judging from the position they were in, they have level 16 talents. It's an even fight. Can Liquid at least claim one of the altars?
There goes the Avatar. King Caffeine's got no mana, however, and they're trying to go for the first execution, but there goes the shield, and that's the Divine Shield on top of things. All considered. Fen so low, running from Darkmork, but they still are trying to win this team fight.
They want to go for the dog. Oh, the mosh pit against 2. They get the kill. Cassia goes in. Illidan is down. That's the end of Genji. Team Liquid is on the warpath.
Fan swift striked into the mosh pit. Absolutely unreal.
Great play here from Liquid. Once again, the double mosh pit that we just saw. Caffeine's biggest problem throughout the entire fight, the lack of mana. He just didn't have anything. He couldn't spam his abilities. He couldn't drop these Storm Bolts and the Thunderclaps. Liquid capitalizing on the situation, and they are getting the bell tower before they head into the altar. That means we're having already Gale Force down to 5 points after the channel. There's a boss on the map, and they're going for zappers.
This puts them in a checkmate situation, right? You can get the altars. That's suddenly now 5 shots left on there. The boss will finish it for you. You can pick up the double zappers and put Gale Force in a bit of a predicament. Do we defend? Do we go for the boss?
Muradin is already anchoring the boss. He's already scouting. He already wants to know what's happening here. They expect this, of course, as well. Liquid is taking their own camp. This means 6 zappers are now currently moving through the bot lane. If only one hits, the boss would finish the game. And Gale Force knows this.
Their wave clear is mediocre at best. They have to commit to try and clear this one. The shots are coming across right now, looking to escort this in. Emerald Wind is going to start the fight off as K1 Pro is the clone.
Emerald Wind pushes them back, and that allows one zapper to go in. That's all they need for now, but they get the kill as well. Muradin is down, and he's not the only one. They're going for the copy, dropping it as well. A big cooldown committed, and at this point, all that Team Liquid needs is the boss. They still have Norok trying to help the zappers out at the bot lane with this wave clear.
One shot from the 3 went across in the first wave. Now we've got a second wave. It looks to be as if they're going to say, we don't care. We'll let this go down to 1 shot on the core. The boss is the play.
Boss is the play, and they know it. They know it. They know they have to go for boss. But Muradin is down. This is an Hail Mary attempt by Gale Force. Down to the last point on the core to make a play. They go in. Team Liquid. They want the fight. Icebox already used. The Suns are coming down, and they're going for once again. Illidan, and he dies. The ancestor does come through. Blumby is dancing. He's dancing. And this is game as Team Liquid defeats Gale Force eSports.
What a series, what a finish to that game. I thought they potentially had it there. There was no isolation, there was no Emerald Wind, only the mosh pit. He perfectly positions it on the point itself. And in the end, it's a clean sweep for Europe.
A 3-1 victory for Team Liquid over Gale Force eSports after an impressive victory for Gale Force on the first map. A great performance on Infernal Shrines, but Team Liquid, they kept their calm and were able to clutch out the series here. Great performance, especially in the last team fights.
The difference of strategies there, where Team Liquid prioritized the bot lane, getting a lot of free shots, arguably working in their favor. Yes, the Mule did a lot of work in the top lane, but those shots really were what mattered in that game.
For me personally, supports in all of these games, fantastic. So many hunts cleansed out, so many approaches by Diablo and Infernal Shrines shut down immediately. And also Blumby with that ETC play. His mosh pits were great, always there when you needed them. Great performance here by the front line of Team Liquid on the last map.
And arguably you'd say this is a statement from Blumby saying, you try and focus me in the draft and ban out my heroes. Well look, I'll do things on Diablo, I'll do things on ETC. Now you might want to reconsider your strategy going into these games.
I was questioning Team Liquid, just letting Illidan through time after time since GFE looked so strong with the Illidan composition. But Liquid really had their number in that last game. Well played, and this means that Team Liquid is now going to move forward to face Team Expert.
It's going to be an all-European affair as we progress through this tournament. What a way for NA to bow out, however, but let's bring it back to the analyst desk to break all of the action down from this one.
Thank you very much, Skimmy. That's right. Team Liquid 3-1, moving on and advancing. That means it's a guaranteed 3 Europe finish over at the top, as Team Liquid is eventually going to have to go up against Team Expert. And from my point of view, watching that Towers of Doom game, I was in awe, not necessarily because it was a bloodbath, not because it was like amazing fights at the start, but because it was such a technically advanced game of patient Towers of Doom.
Yeah, Towers of Doom, one of the most fascinating maps. And the way they went about it, like you said, in one word, technical. From all the little things that Team Liquid did to actually inch ahead, despite being a little bit down in XP for much of the game, was really cool. Did you see what was happening with those sappers? two things that Team Liquid did that was really cool. One, when the sappers against them got taken on their side, they were able to draw them into the top of the fort. Normally they rejoin the middle. They draw them in. They aggroed the sappers on their own tower, interrupted it with power slide, interrupted the sapper explosion on the tower with face melt, with Hammer of Justice. They really mitigated damage. Second really cool thing Team Liquid did when they were pushing in with sappers at the bottom lane and trying to push them over that tower line to get the explosion, each character of Liquid was gently nudging them forward, like a little bird from the mother's nest, like, go ahead and fly. And they were pushing them forward, trying to get them over that line. Got a lot of core shots that way.
Dread, I believe we do have highlights from that game.
We, in fact, do have a couple of replays. I want to start it off here with was just kind of the breaking point. Gale Force feels forced to be able to take this fight, but they have the 13 talent tier advantage. It's a really inconvenient spot because they don't own the bell tower. You know they wanted to make this rotation a bit faster than we possibly could have. Now they got the bell tower. Mike goes down to be able to get the stall, and the fight's going to unfold. A beautiful isolation, but right now things look good for Gale Force. This is an unoptimal initiation until Blumby decides to do Blumby things. A beautiful pre-cleanse, the Emerald Wind splits everybody, and the fight's not even close. This is our fear of the composition that Gale Force drafted, and why we were, or at least I was a bit, negative spoken against it, because it is so hard for them to be able to take fights. And then we got to look here towards the very end of this game, a beautiful skirmish. Nurok able to get the teleport in, aid his team. Meanwhile, Rhaegar's trying to be able to save Fan. He's dashing away the whole time, which now puts Akka into a terrible position and be able to take the fight. And I mean, look at how close it is. And I mean, maybe it's better to say, look at how unclose these team fights are. Even beyond the fact that being able to split the members makes an easy mosh most of the time, it still was just like the health bars of Liquid were not even close.
I mean, it feels like this is Team Liquid's kind of story for a lot of times. Sometimes they're quite miss, which, we've seen from time to time, but when they hit, when they get some of these hits, it looks like there's some of the best coordination in the world, Gilly. Some of those fights were fantastic. Yeah,
the coordination, the synergy from this team shows you why for a long time they were the top team in Europe. And I want to go back to the fact that they just defeated Gale Force eSports. They lost one game, but otherwise defeated them in a best of 5.
Yeah.
They didn't draft Vikings once. They did not have to draft Vikings, and they were still able to make this work, showing that they have more up their sleeves than just Vikings and the double support. I am impressed.
Commiserations, of course, to Gale Force eSports now for going out, and unfortunately for America, their road has come to an end here at the Western Clash. But I think that America has, and Gale Force, of course, here, has a lot to take away with them and then kind of move forwards, looking forward to BlizzCon.
Yeah, and from speaking to King Caffeine and Gale Force, and like you said, commiserations, well done, lot to take away.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to be satisfied with that.
Of course.
But realistically, they said before this tournament, they have extremely high ambitions. They're looking at BlizzCon. This is a learning experience. Still, they're not going to be happy with it. They're going to look at that and say, like, yeah, we made mistakes. We know where. So much to learn. But they did fix a number of problems. They came with certain solutions. They were able to solve Viking play. They were able to solve Abathur play with their Illidan Rhaegar pressure. Now they need to continue to evolve, to really flesh out the tree of life of their strategies. They've explored several branches, and if they can make that tree grow and just kind of expand upon it and have lots of different adaptations, they can become the full team that they are slated and looking to be able to be.
Is this echoed here by our North American experts?
If I was to break down like what we experienced from North America here at the Western Clash, it was, if you looked at the first in Western Clash and the one we currently are at, North America's team fighting and like their ability to hold up, if they are on the same talent tier, which is not likely, but if they are, it's not as lopsided as it once was. But the problem, in my opinion, a lot of this tournament was just stubbornness on meta, lack of respect for what we've seen from all over the world, and just going, the NA style is the NA style, and we're going to run it until it burns to the ground.
Apart from Team Freedom, who seem to have really embraced almost the culture of Europe when it comes to how they're going to play the game, Gilly.
Yeah, maybe we will see North America come back from this and stick closer to the meta. We never really saw them completely change, like at mid-season Brawl, where we really were just about one and the same. But we'll see what happens with that, how far it deviates as we get closer and closer to a global championship.
All right, 2 more series left here for the Western Clash day number 3. 3 teams remain, and Europe stands strong here at the Western Clash. We're going to go to a short break, but when we're back, we determine who our grand finalist is going to be alongside Fnatic as Team Liquid goes up against Team Expert.